Welcome to another video of Food Nourished Deep Dives, the videocast of foodnourished.net, where we explore topics like health, food, supplements, and alternative approaches to health and wellness. Today, we're tackling a question that pops up a lot, especially in vegan circles, and it sparks some pretty wild debates. Are figs actually vegan? The answer involves a story from nature that is just fascinating, and yeah, a little bit gruesome. Okay, let's just dive right into the heart of it, shall we? You've probably heard the rumor, the one that says every time you bite into a fig, you're also munching on a dead wasp. It's a pretty creepy thought, and it's the entire reason this question even exists. But is there any truth to it? All right, let me just clear the air right away. For pretty much all vegans, the answer is yes, figs are totally okay to eat. But the story of why they're considered vegan, even with this whole wasp thing, well, that's where it gets really interesting. It's an incredible example of just how wild the natural world is, and that's exactly what we're going to break down. To really understand the fig, you first have to understand its very unique relationship with a tiny little insect, the fig wasp. And this isn't something new. We're talking about a partnership that's been perfected by evolution over millions of years. You know, there is a scientific term for this kind of partnership. It's called mutualism. And that one word really frames this entire story. This isn't just about a bug accidentally dying inside a fruit. No, this is a super specialized symbiotic relationship where the fig tree and the fig wasp literally cannot survive without each other. They've got a deal. And here's the first thing that might just blow your mind. A fig isn't a fruit like an apple or an orange is. It's actually something called an inflorescence. What does that mean? It's basically a whole bunch of tiny flowers that have folded inward, creating that pod we call a fig. And since all the flowers are on the inside, they need a very, very special pollinator to get to them. And that's where the female fig wasp comes in. Her entire life leads up to this one mission: find a fig. She has to squeeze through this teeny tiny opening at the bottom of the fig, a journey so difficult that it actually rips her wings and antenna right off. So now she's trapped. But she's done her job. She lays her eggs, and in the process, she spreads the pollen she brought with her from the fig where she was born. Her life's mission is complete, and she dies inside. Okay, so a wasp really does die inside the fig. That sounds pretty clear-cut, right? Not vegan, case closed. Well, hold on, because this is where nature performs a little bit of magic. The story doesn't end with a dead wasp just sitting there. You see, the fig has a secret weapon. It produces this incredibly powerful enzyme called ficin. Think of it like a natural recycling system. This enzyme is a protein-dissolving powerhouse. As soon as that wasp dies, the ficin gets to work and completely breaks down its entire body, the exoskeleton, everything. It just dissolves the wasp into simple proteins, which the fig then absorbs as food. It's honestly not that different from how a Venus flytrap digests a fly. So this is the really crucial part. By the time a fig is ripe and ready to eat, there is literally no wasp left inside. Zero trace. And that myth about the crunchiness in a fig being leftover wasp parts? Total nonsense. The crunch you feel comes from its hundreds and hundreds of tiny little seeds. This quote sums it up perfectly. At a molecular level, the distinction between wasp and fig just disappears. The wasp has literally been absorbed and become the fig. So no, you are not eating any insect parts. So the science is clear. You're not eating an insect. But for some people, that still doesn't settle the ethical question. I mean, an animal still died for that fig to exist. So does that go against vegan principles? Well, for most vegans, the philosophy is focused on avoiding the intentional exploitation and cruelty to animals by humans. The fig wasp thing, though, that's a natural cycle. It's been happening for millions of years before we ever showed up. It's generally considered incidental harm, which is a lot like other unavoidable things in farming, like field mice that might be killed during a grain harvest, or insects killed by pesticides, even on organic farms. The goal isn't to harm those animals. It's just an unfortunate side effect of growing food. And hey, speaking of food, let's just take a quick break here. If you're looking to stock up on any of your favorite supplements or wellness brands, you should definitely check out our deals page. Just head over to foodnourished.net/deals. You'll find all the latest offers from major brands like Perpetual Life, iHerb, Source Naturals, Nutromix Depot, and BioOptimizers. We've dropped the link in the description below for you to make it easy.
All right, now, after all that mind-bending science and a little bit of ethical philosophy, I've got one more massive piece of the puzzle for you. And frankly, for most of us, this next part makes the entire debate pretty much irrelevant.
So it turns out there are different kinds of figs. You've got Smyrna figs, like the Calamimyrna variety, and those absolutely need the wasp pollination we've been talking about. But then you have what are called common figs. And these guys, like the black mission or brown turkey figs you see all the time, are self-pollinating. They don't need wasps at all. No wasps are involved in their life cycle, period.
And here's the kicker. Roughly 90% of the figs grown commercially for us to eat are these common, self-pollinating kinds. Why? Well, it's just easier and more reliable for farmers. So that means the vast, vast majority of figs you'll ever find at the grocery store, whether they're fresh or dried, never had a wasp anywhere near them to begin with.
So, let's bring this all home. We've gone from a kind of creepy urban legend all the way to some really cool biology and some practical stuff you can actually use at the store.
So the main things to remember are these. First, for the figs that do involve a wasp, that special enzyme, ficin, completely dissolves it. There's nothing left. Second, this is a natural process, not something humans designed to exploit animals. And third, maybe the most practical point, is that almost all the figs you're buying are from varieties that don't need wasps in the first place.
So are figs vegan? Based on all the science and how most people define veganism, the answer is a pretty solid yes. But, at the end of the day, the choice is always yours. Our goal here was just to give you the real facts so you can make that choice based on science, not on a myth. Goodbye, and please check the resource article in the description. If you found this useful, do us a favor and like the video. It really helps us grow our channel and continue delivering these deep dives. And of course, subscribe so you never miss another one.
We'll leave you with just one last thought to chew on. Learning about these intricate, sometimes kind of weird processes behind our food is just so cool. Now that you know the real story of the fig and the wasp, does it change how you see your food or its connection to the incredible world around us? Let us know what you think in the comments.